in 2002, I saw an ad on what do they call it? Is it Monster? One of those job sites, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And anyway, so there was an ad that says, be a talent scout. And I thought, oh, wow, this will be great. And it was to work with Intercontinental Talent, which was, or Transcontinental, something like that. And it was Lou Pearlman, the discoverer of NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys. Transcontinental Talent, yeah. And they had these, they said, show up and learn about how to discover the new faces for modeling and entertainment or whatever. And it was just the worst experience.
Really just a front for a kiddie porn ring.
Pretty much. I mean, close to it. I don't know. But I remember that at the training session, there was a dude who looked like Sammy Hagar. And he was, they said, oh, we're going to pair you with a veteran scout. And they introduced me to this guy. And he's like, yeah, I've been here 3 weeks. and all I remember was that people were like, it was a huge count call of people, like of potential scouts. They made us like do a bunch of stupid like icebreaker games all fucking day long. And so then they said, oh, you're in. Like if you just didn't walk out in frustration.
Right.
And so they had me come in for the real start your job. And that's when they introduced me to Sammy Hagar's clone. And we wound up going to some mall. The guy goes, yeah, I'll show you my turf. And we go to some mall in Sherman Oaks. And he's like going, it was totally like stalking kids. It was amazing. And like young women, he's just like, oh, yeah. Hey, look at that one. Okay, we're going to follow her. And, okay, when the guards aren't looking, we're going to walk up. And I'm like, what are we going to do? Kidnap or roof them or what?
Deeply Judge Roy Moore training camp.
Would you like to be a model?
Any job that involves when the guards aren't looking.
I know.
Usually that's a red flag for me.
Deeply unsettling.
Yeah, well, and I recall that we're actually following this one woman up an escalator, and he's like, hang back. Okay, so, we want to look like we're pleasantly surprising her. And I was okay. And then right as we're about to make the approach, my phone rings out of nowhere. It was God like calling, I guess, because nobody was on the other end of the line. But perfect timing. I answer my phone. He keeps moving. Boom! Guards like got his ass out of the mall. It was amazing. The good Lord saved me from a misdemeanor.
Wow.
Yeah, or worse. Yeah. So that's how showbiz works. The glamour. Yeah.
Well, it sounds very similar to the vacuum business. Actually.
Yeah.
Hang out in the mall. You try and get people to buy stuff. No.
And both jobs suck.
My sales guru was the sucks. Was the funniest guy of the whole.
Dick Anderson. He'd give it, how you doing? He'd reach
Really?
his hand out.
Wow.
Hey, come on in. I'm going to show you how to sell some vacuums here, Don. Yeah.
He goes, and he'd give the little presentation and to try and suck you in. And somebody was like, well, what's the price? And he's like,
Well, it's not about price. It's about cost.
and he'd proceed to go through this whole, like, you go have a whiteboard. He's like,
Okay, over a 20-year period, regular vacuum, you spend about $20,000 a year on the carpet, wear and tear.
he'd like ramble all these figures, right?
Dazzle
like
you with the numbers.
Clean air, and you have to get new air filters, and Rainbow doesn't use water. Anyways, he comes in. So a standard vacuum over the life of a Rainbow, which lasts 20 years, standard vacuum will cost you all total about $38,000.
We're like, man, I'm 19 years old. Like, man, that really added up quick. I didn't see that coming. No wonder my parents can't afford to send me to college, right?
Think of how much I'll save if I don't buy any vacuums.
Right, exactly.
You can't afford not to buy this. Is there any like second prize a set of steak knives? Kind of thing?
Set of steak knives.
It's one of those things that I like. Cause in my life, I've owned 2 vacuums, and one of them I bought because I was moving into an apartment and needed a vacuum. So it's like I went to the store.
Right.
It doesn't seem like one of those things. Someone calls you on the phone, and I have been thinking about buying a new vacuum.
No, you got to work your way in. It's they would send you on some of these leads. I'd be out in the country in some dirt shack, and I couldn't even find it at night. And,
Really?
I'm like, and I had to call my boss.
Like, he was like, you have to call from every home. You have to call to let us know how it went. At the end, I'm like,
even if you don't sell it, I call him like, hey, Mr. A, I'm calling from this guy's house, and He doesn't want to buy it. He doesn't have carpet, and he's cradling a shotgun. And I don't even think he owns shoes. Can I go now?
Can I please
Put
go?
him on the phone, Dad. Let me talk to him. He'd have to talk to them. Like,
Always be closing.
I remember the first time I had to talk to I was exactly. I talked to somebody and I was like, okay, they don't want to buy it. He goes, put him on the phone. So the guy picks up the phone. He's like, yeah, right, and he's, yeah, okay, all right. He wants to talk to you again. He'd hand it back to me. Go ahead and write that thing up, Don.
What?
I'm like, what?
How did you?
Yeah. So I talked to him like, so and it turned to, it's awkward between me and the guy. He's like, no, I still don't want to buy it. I'm like, what the hell are you doing to me? He was just screwing with me, man. So I sold him in Fresno, which is my hometown, and my mom still lives there. And I was visiting her a couple of years ago, and this lady recognized me in the grocery store.
Oh, no.
I couldn't believe. She's like, do you remember me? I think you sold me a rainbow vacuum
And you're
like
thinking
20 years ago. I'm like, no way. You still have it? She's like, have it. 2 more payments. That baby is ours.
Yeah, I only met one other vacuum salesman ever, and it was a guy named Bill, and he was we called him a regular. He was at the Barnes & Noble in Pasadena about 10 years ago, or a little more maybe. I was working there as a side job, and we always had these people that come there like all day, every day for like hours, and then mostly it was like a homeless shelter with books and a bathroom, and so anyway, he would come in though. A lot of the people would go to the library during the day. Then when it closed at 6, they'd trot over to us until 11, trying to just stay off the streets as much as possible. But he would come over, and he looked pretty respectable. And so I got to know him a little bit. And I was like, yeah, so what do you do? And he shows me his card. He goes, yeah, I'm a vacuum salesman. I'm like, they still do that? And he's like, well, under certain circumstances, you don't have a choice. And I'm like, what's that? And he's like, oh, well, I'm on probation. And it was a job that was one of the jobs that you could get with no matter what your criminal record is, even though they're sending you door to door to go into people's homes, doing God knows what.
Well, they don't want you hanging around the office. You're a goddamn criminal, for Christ's sake.
Right.
Yeah. So, but the friendship went south because eventually he was like, oh, one night he sees me, and he's like, Carl, I got court in the morning, man. My halfway house, I got to change halfway houses. It's driving me crazy where I'm at. And, and I was like, dude, somehow I stupidly said, you can't sit up all night waiting, for court at 8 a.m. Just come to my place, crash on the couch.
Oh, Carl.
Real smart. Yeah. And then
skip to the end of the story. How many vacuums did you buy?
Yeah, so I live in a concrete floor place. It was so traumatizing. I would never want to vacuum again. No, but he wound up like on my couch, and then he's like, the next day he comes back, he goes, yeah, my judge made me like wait a week to get a new assignment, so I'll keep your place super clean. I'm thinking, yeah, you'll clean me out. But like a couple of the women were like, oh, he's nice and harmless. I said, would you put him up there? Like, no, but we're women.
No, good
Lord.
So absolutely.
He wound up in my place on a couch. I let him in for like a week, and at the 4th night, he tells me a very special story about how now that we're going to be good friends, that I tell you that, and I'm watching Leno trying to focus on a monologue. He's behind me on the couch, and he goes, I killed a man once.
Here we go. Anyway, me and Mavis.
Yeah, and I'm like,
you hear about this? You see this?
I'm thinking, do you spin around and react badly, or do you just take it in like it's nothing? So I try to keep my cool.
Pretend I didn't hear that.
So what's the story? And he just
I think
tells
the
me
first
this
question
awful
is,
story.
how? Because you want, like, if he shot a guy, you're like, all right, well, I don't have any guns in the house.
Yeah.
If he stabbed someone or, MacGyvered some sort. This is the important.
Concern.
Well, he and his old lady were staying in a hotel or motel, of course, in East Pasadena, and they were all hopped up on meth, along with another friend. He warned the guy, hey, don't stop talking or I'll punch you. And the guy wouldn't stop talking, punched him so hard, the guy reeled back and snapped his head into the TV that was mounted on the wall. So he gushed open a big hole in his head, fell forward against the dresser, and smashed like his rib cage or something.
Good Lord.
And then they fled, but the guy stayed awake long enough to report who they were and where they were likely to be. So there you go.
So your next line is like, so let me know if I'm talking too much. just give me a little.
I still haven't learned. I'm too mouthy on this own show. Yeah.
That's the story of how Carl ran a quarter-way house.
Yeah, the way I finally got rid of him was I had him for like a week, and finally he.
What'd you do? I punched him so hard his head hit the TV.
Yeah.
Funny story.
No, but he came back like weeks later, and I'm waking up. I'm sleeping on my couch on a Saturday morning, and all of a sudden I hear Carl, hey! And I look out my window, and it's him, and it was like John Cusack can say anything, only much more horrifying. And he's like, Carl! And so I call 911, and I'm like, yeah, there's this crazy guy. He's on my lawn screaming somebody's name.
I think he killed a man once.
Yeah, so he got carted away. I never heard from him again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yet.
Well, like I said, I have a concrete floor here, so therefore no need for the vacuum, thankfully.
And that's why he lives in a building with a security guard in the lobby.
Yes. But, so what about Fresno? Anything awful about that? I mean, people generally don't seem to speak too highly.
Somehow it's a seamless transition from meth murders to Fresno.
No, my family still lives there. A lot of my cousins and my mom.
Yeah.
I grew up, not knowing that it was not supposed to be that hot everywhere. I moved to L.A. for college, thinking I'd move back to Fresno, thinking that I had a happy childhood, and you go back and it's just it's not the same, But yeah. L.A. we love it. 30 years here.
Wow.
30, maybe 25, 30, I don't know. Long time.
Yeah.
I know 25 in the marriage.
Well, you went back
People are talking about renewing the vows. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Are you going to do it?
I don't know. I was coming up on an anniversary. My friend's like, "Hey, you gonna renew your vows?" And I was like, "Oh crap, when is that due?" Like, is that a thing? I didn't even know they expired.
I know, right?
Like, what do you even say the second time around? Hey, want to go month to month? I mean, I thought I was all set, right? I remember saying, "Till death do us part." I'm on the death plan, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Like, how deep does a rabbit hole go?
I know. We're built to last even longer than one of these, payment plans for the vacuum.
I think it's like a living will, right?
Right.
And a second mortgage somewhere there. Right. Yeah, well, we're getting a second mortgage on the marriage.
Right. Well, the weird couple with the bowl cut that had the 13 kids, they renewed their vows 3 times in Vegas.
I think it was more than Elvis 3, Chapel. Wasn't it?
Oh, 2011, 13, and 15.
Oh, boy.
All at the Elvis Chapel. Yeah. But, good times.
It's like a commitment not to turn the other one in.
Yeah, right?
At that point, right?
They're accomplices.
We're still in this, right? You're still not going to squeal.
Yeah.
Till arraignments do we part.
And we'll probably do it. It's a romantic gesture.
It's a nice thing.
It's not binding, clearly.
Sure. You've got the
no
jewelry.
one ever gets cold feet in a vow renewal. What would even be the point? I can't
no
go through with this.
paperwork.
I can't go through with this.
Well, Dr.
So I'll just see you at
a
home.
Dr. Dave is a licensed marriage minister, so
Save me some chicken.
you have Dr. Dave do it.
Yeah, I am ordained. So
Wow.
if you need to do it on the cheap, we'll talk after the show.
Yeah, so
I clean up good.
Good, nice.
but you've got at least one special, right? Do you have 2 or 1?
I have one 1 hour special from Showtime. That was on Showtime and then Netflix. And right now I'm hoping in the next few months to tape my next one, but I haven't sold it yet.
Oh, okay,
So,
great. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to wrap it up here. And so how can people find out about you? You're going to be doing the South Pasadena Public Library. You do a lot of real genuine,
makes me
awesome
sound
gigs,
very,
but
yeah.
I know, but
It's how very PBS of me to be playing the library. And
no, it's
all,
actually
and
a really
whatnot.
great room.
Oh,
Folks.
it's great.
You should check it out.
I did it
1100
like 4
Oxley
or 5
Street.
years ago.
Yeah.
It's I live in South Pass.
Yeah.
Well, for another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But
It's your farewell show.
the library, it's free. It's a fun show.
Yeah.
And
Lots of homeless people will come out like at the Barnes
well,
Noble.
it's really cool. It's on Thursday night, so it's right next to the street fair. What do they call it? The
Farmers market.
Farmers.
Street fair.
Brain fart.
Yeah.
Farmers market. So there's all that stuff too. So you just walk around. It's a great chill environment.
Yeah.
And it's in the back. If you look at the front of the library, it's completely around the other side. So it's the exact.
1115 El Centro Street, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can go to my website anytime. DonFriesen.com.
Friesen.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you don't feel like spelling Friesen, you can go to funnydon.com.
Oh, okay.
And it will take you to a page on my site, and you'll be the page where you can get a free CD download.
Oh, okay, wonderful.